Hello, Logo 304. Time for a business manager update. I apologize. I know it's been a couple of weeks. I ended up getting the old virus, and so just getting back to work this week. Let's just start out with those COVID numbers. So we're still seeing a pretty good spike in Logo 304. I think I'm up to 14 that will be reporting to the IO again this week. I will tell you that the 7th district looks a lot different than the other districts when it comes to the number of deaths. So we are still seeing a large number of cases, but we've been real lucky in not seeing a lot of deaths. So that's what's happening on the COVID front. I know there's a lot more to talk about with that. There's the vaccine and how that's going to be made available, and how employers, for the most part, are just making highly recommendations. Some of our employees are starting to rattle the cage a little bit about, can we offer some incentives? So those are mandatory subjects of bargaining, and so if your contract's affected by that, we will definitely be having some conversation to get more formal in those discussions. Just real quick too, this is a crazy time of year when it comes to weather, because you can obviously have a blizzard one day and 3 days later you can have 50 degrees. Black ice in between there, right? So please be careful out there and make sure you're paying attention to what's happening in your neck of the woods, as they say. The Kansas State legislative cycle has started again, so sessions are in place. David's been up there already on several bills. What I'd like to do this year is do a little better job of keeping you informed of what bills are out there that affect labor. So I'm going to work on something on our webpage so that we have a tab there that we can keep you updated as they become updated. Local 304's bill seems to be gathering a little more traction this year. If you remember, we've been talking about this for several years to get the utility vehicles included in that move over law, and then also look at increasing the amount of penalty for any assault on utility workers. So it's a shame our society's in this position that they will go after us like that, but we need to be able to protect ourselves. So those seem to be gathering some traction. I'll keep you informed. Again, I think I'll put a legislative tab out on the website. Line clearance negotiations, we're working under an extension currently, and so I had a discussion with contractors today informally. We have not had a meeting with me being out. It just hasn't been able to schedule yet. So that's not over, and it sounds positive. So we'll keep you informed as that progresses. Local meeting on February the 11th is a big meeting again. The president will be appointing the judge and tellers for the International Convention to be held later this year, so we'll get that in place. We're going to have the Kansas Gas large committee appointments, and the final meeting for the proposals for Kansas Gas. Then with the Kansas Gas large committee being February 27th. So please, if you haven't attended a unit meeting and you got proposals, the next local meeting will be the time to bring those in for the Kansas Gas Service contract negotiations for this year. Also, we'll be drawing the Orca cooler that we got for those USA Sportsman calendars, and we still have a few calendars left. So if you're interested in being part of that drawing for that cooler, you need to call the hall and get Nicole to sell you one of those calendars, $35. Also enters you into 2-gun raffle a week for the Sportsman Alliance. So it's a good deal both ways. It helps your opportunity to win guns, and it also helps your opportunity to win the local raffles here in Local 304. We're continuing to do our podcast. I want to just keep that thought alive in your head so that when we make those available, you'll be aware. I'm really, really excited about them. We did the first one on political, how labor and politics intertwine, and then this time was on labor history. And I really think there's a lot of good information there, a lot of good education. Politics and labor, of course, goes right in hand with that. I know there's a lot going on out there, and with the new regime in place, there's a lot of rhetoric flying back and forth. I was on the AFL-CIO Executive Board meeting call today, and I know just like with the pipeline There's a lot of bad information out there, and so we're going to try to get some more actual labor information on that. You know, you're trading one craft's work for another. Railroad that's seeing so many layoffs actually be calling some workers back now. So anyway, I just want to put that out there that while I don't think we all agree with everything that goes on, regardless of which party's in power, the most important thing we can do is make sure we relay accurate information. So, Evergy, a couple of updates real quick. System Council update, we're still pushing forward. Worked with the company on some sort of a protocol document on how we would interact at the table as 5 local unions. Still working towards getting those IVP approvals, so just keeping you updated that thing is still being cussed and discussed and moving forward. Also, Evergy Proposals will start running through the February unit meetings and end at the March local meeting. So get geared up with those. We've got proposal sheets if you need them. The Evergy boot allowance, I think it's important. This is something I keep hearing about, so I want to put this out on the video so it kind of gets some consistent information. On the generation side, the company believes the way that the letter was written does give them the boot allowance again in the second paycheck of February, but the company is looking at the way the letter was written from the company on the T&D side. If you remember real quick, Local 304 refused to negotiate. That's something that should be provided by the company, and so that was our push to say any PPE required by the company should be provided by the company. And so that's why we had pushed for just the clackers. If I didn't want to go out and purchase steel-toe boots, that if they were requiring me to have foot coverings, then the clackers would be the answer. They said that the Local 304 hands would get the same as what the 1464 contract did. So to me, that meant that it'd be every year. But anyway, that's going on right now. So if you're coming up on that year, excuse me, and if you're having problems with the boots, what our last discussion with Labor Relations is, take your boot to your supervisor and say that this thing needs some repair, and they should repair or replace as necessary there. So more to come, I'm sure, on that. We talked a little bit about the bag of swag, and so this is the bag of swag, and so included in there is a knife, a license plate, some golf tees, some golf balls, a hat, and one of those draft tops that cuts the top out of beer cans. So I will be giving that away next week, Friday, on the next Business Manager Report Call. And those come, of course, from those of you remember, you call the hall and say, I want to provide my ticket number so that we can make sure that we have good contact information and you have the ability to get on to the webpage. As we go into this negotiations, it's going to be more important to have communication. It's always important to have communication, but the emphasis during negotiations is even greater. So please, Unions Get It app, go to your Play Store or your Apple Store. Get your Unions Get It app on your phone, and we can do mass text. And they're part of that. Please make sure we have a personal cell phone number. I'd certainly be disappointed if we were given the company information on our negotiations. So, brothers and sisters, thank you for all you do, and we'll keep on moving this labor movement forward. Thank you very much.